Hey, adeoscar. Thanks a lot for the response there. That was cool. Um, yeah, Orton and Persa were actually telling Gary Renard. That was those two ascended masters that appeared to Gary Renard. Uh, if you didn't watch the intro to ACIM at all, watch that because that describes that. But uh, they were saying that Buddhism is basically, yeah, it like leads in the same direction and stuff, and it's the same kind of thing. Um, it's fascinating to see how Buddhism and what Christ really taught were very very close, you know. Uh, but yeah, I sort of I want to emphasize, I wanted to emphasize more of that aspect of forgiving yourself. That's really the heart of the matter as far as forgiveness is concerned. You're forgiving yourself because it's all yourself. It's all the self or whatever. So that's what you're forgiving, and you're finally, as you forgive, you're forgiven. It's kind of mind-boggling because it isn't ordinary cause and effect, separate world, space-time thinking. It's omnipresent thinking. It's different. But anyway, um, it's non-locality. You know what I mean? It's you being everywhere. So anything that you do applies to you and everybody else. At once, simultaneously. So forgiving is forgiving yourself and everybody else. At the same time. Uh, but yeah, I also wanted to say that I used to read Rumi a long time ago. Me and a couple of buddies of mine. Well, it was mainly just me and one friend of mine living in an apartment, and then the third guy in our triumvirate would come over and visit. We'd all smoke pot and stuff like that, when we weren't with our girlfriends and things, and we'd read Rumi. Um, And I just remember this time where, like, over a few days, we were just smoking a lot of pot and reading Rumi. And it just was so cool. It was such a. I think that guy might have been enlightened because I seem to remember just this feeling of everything he was saying was making sense in our stoned, kind of fun states. And our stoned kind of, we were sort of seekers, I mean, even as far back as then. I was only 18, but you know, and so like we were getting stoned and like talking about a lot of enlightenment type stuff, and it was neat. And I just remember really liking Rumi and the whole thing being a time of like a lot of warmth and light and sort of, it was a nice time. You know what I mean? It was a good time. But yeah, I don't know about that specific poem, but I remember a lot of poems and stuff of his. And where are you from? India? I guess. I mean, I'm sure you're probably not. I mean, you're American, clearly, by the way you talk, but you're probably pretty close to it because your parents. But that was great. We're getting it straight from the Indian guy here, the real Buddhist words and everything. Really interesting, all that stuff about the bliss and consciousness, and that was just great. That was great. I was just, every word you said, I was thinking, holy shit, this is right on. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So really good to meet you. By the way, which song were you talking about? The Now You Realize song? I guess so, because that's the one I put up on the group. But I have a bunch of other songs if you want to check them out. And I play, I mean, some other songs of my own and some covers, and playing both guitar and keyboard and stuff. I'm a musician. But yeah, I mean, the mind produces pain if it's not actually forgiven and loved. Like, almost continuously. I've been noticing that lately. It just churns out pain, it's gotten to where I don't even need to be thinking of anything much, just anything too terrible, just any little thing that could bother me or anything, and my mind just starts churning out pain, even though it's like totally insignificant, something so totally insignificant that it's even a question whether it's bad or anything. My mind just takes it and assumes it's bad and manufactures pain like a pain machine. That's weird. But yeah, yeah, to forgive it and gently, tenderly like that. That's exactly it. And you're forgiving yourself. Because in an omnipresence way, the whole cosmos is blaming itself for being separate from God, and you're blamed. But to you, that seems like, that is basically that you are blaming yourself. From the vantage point of the self, it doesn't matter all the space-time that's involved. It only matters that you forgive yourself. And the feeling is enough to... They say in these the Art and Persis said in these Gary Renard books that if you forgive, you may not even feel like anything much is happening, but it's actually erasing whole, like, realms of space-time and error and reincarnation that you don't even know consciously. It's no longer, it's letting it go and releasing it, because you no longer will have a need to go through certain cycles of pain and suffering and learn lessons and things, because you're letting go of, and you won't need to keep hashing through all these lessons and stuff that the theoretically are lessons only to show you that you finally need to get beyond, that you need to let go of the blame. Anyway, you get the idea. I can see very clearly you understand the whole thing very well. So, but that was really interesting. All those words and stuff. That was great. All that, yeah, that stuff. All right. Good to meet you. See you later.